Hey guys, so today we're talking about ecosystem services. So we're gonna take a look at the PowerPoints and jump right in. So when we talk about ecosystem values, we place values on ecosystems two different ways. The first one is what we call intrinsic value, and this is the belief that ecosystems have a value independent of our needs and desires. We have a moral obligation to protect them, or we might have a religious requirement to protect them. So this is intrinsic value. It is a value based on the object having a value in and of itself without it having to serve us. The second one, and the one that's a little bit easier sometimes to wrap your heads around, is the idea of instrumental value. And certainly this is the one where we can make better arguments for protecting and preserving the environment, when we can place a value on it that has worth in terms of goods or services. So the first type, and generally when we talk about instrumental value, this is when we're talking about ecosystem services. So these are services that an ecosystem provides to humans, okay? Specifically, we'll talk about things that ecosystems do for the other organisms living in them, but when we talk about ecosystem services, we are talking specifically about a benefit to humans. So the first one we're going to talk about is called provisioning. And this is, again, the easiest one to wrap your head around. These are goods that we use directly. This is food, this is lumber, fur, leather, medicinal plants. We have a couple images here of honey and maple sap being collected to make maple syrup. So these are provisioning services, services that have a monetary value, services that provide a good that we can purchase or use or sell. So that's provisioning services. These can be disrupted by both natural activities and human activities. If we have a forest fire, that's going to interfere with harvesting lumber crops. If we have a invasion of an invasive species that damages honeybees, we're going to have an impact on the crop of honey. Okay, our second one is regulating systems. So regulating systems are those systems that keep things in balance, that keep us at equilibrium. So these are things like erosion and flood control, carbon storage, decomposition, pollination, and water filtration. These keep our ecosystems smooth and steady at equilibrium, and they mean that we can continue to live at equilibrium. Okay, so supporting services. These are the ones that are really hard to wrap your head around. These are the ones that support the other three, and I know we haven't gotten to the fourth one yet. Without these, none of the other services can happen. So these are the very basis of our ecosystems. These are things like nutrient cycling, the creation of soil through the soil cycle, the maintenance of water through the water cycle. These supporting services underlie the provisioning services and the regulating services that we talked about earlier, because as you can see, the water cycle and the carbon cycle are going to be responsible for carbon storage and for water filtration, as well as decomposition. And then our last service is cultural services. These are the ones we think of as having an aesthetic value. This can be something as simple as just appreciating something for its beauty. More often, we can place a monetary value on it because it has a value in terms of tourism or real estate or recreation. So those are our 4 ecosystem services. We can use CRISP to remember them. It's cultural, regulatory or regulating, supporting, that's the one I haven't said yet, and provisioning. So those are our 4. Those 4 combine to create resilience. This is the need to maintain, this resilience allows us to maintain genetic diversity. We have a variety of genetic makeup so that we can address the needs of the future. All right, so that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.